So good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever it is you're joining us from. I greet you with the best of greetings. Those of us that are here physically, and to the online audience, I say hello to you all. So my topic today is on becoming your authentic self. I also want to stand on existing protocol. Thank Mr. Jubal for organizing this event. The last 3 days I have followed keenly online, and what you've done really is you've created a citadel of knowledge from scratch. And for that I say thank you. You have brought a group from totally diverse backgrounds here. You've mentioned, I really was looking forward to meeting Barry, because yes, he's in one of the master classes. So well done. I particularly loved the way the whole program was organized. While I was online, you have been able to take us through not only Nigerian history, but also South African history. There was somebody who touched upon apartheid. Some of our children don't even know what that means. So they don't understand what is happening when they hear South Africans don't like Nigerians. Meanwhile, there's actually a deep, long history between Nigeria and South Africa. You also brought in another resource, Mohammed Andrew, who talked about Nubia and Nubians. Really, indeed, for me, what ICC 2025 has done is it has confirmed to me that Africa is risen, not rising. It's indeed, it has risen. Our music globally, you had a resource person speak about that as well. There's no part of the world you will go into that you would not hear Nigerian music particularly. And when I see Caucasians actually dancing the buga and all of those steps, I'm like, wow, we've really, really gone places. And we continue to maintain that. So, what if I tell you this is blueprint for success? How many of us here will be interested in hearing what it entails? Only one person. Okay, 2, 3. Aha, that's more like it. Oh, there's a young person there. Lovely. Hi. Okay, the success blueprint. I'm not going to take too much of your time, but there are 5 pillars that make up the success blueprint. I bring it up because you as a person are more magnificent than any of your fantasies that you have about yourself. And you're the most critical factor in this success blueprint. So we start with the first pillar. And in fact, it's so ironic, when Femi Jubal was on stage here, everything he pointed out, I was like, did this guy get some expo from my notes? So here we go. First pillar, patterns. What are patterns really? They're just habits, yeah? What you do on a daily basis form your pattern. And it's so critical to who you are as an individual. What do you do routinely? Take time to find out what your patterns are. When people come to me and say, Zendiza, I'm stuck, it takes me 20 to 30 minutes to find out where the bottlenecks are in their lives. And that is because as they speak, I can pick out the patterns in their life. So we need to be attentive. We need to take note about our habits and our patterns. Because our habits actually end up being our behaviors. What you do routinely becomes you. The second pillar is, what sort of decisions are you making? Are you taking quality decisions? Are you making quality decisions? Tony Robbins, I believe, said, 'When you make quality decisions, you make quality decisions. 'When you make quality decisions, you make quality decisions. 'When you make quality decisions, you make quality decisions. 'When you make quality decisions, you make quality decisions. 'When you make quality decisions, you make quality decisions. 'When you make quality decisions, you make quality decisions. 'When you make quality decisions, you make quality decisions. 'When you make quality decisions, you make quality decisions. 'When you make quality decisions, you make quality decisions. 'When you make quality decisions, you make quality decisions. 'When you make quality decisions, you make quality decisions. 'When you make quality decisions, you make quality decisions. 'When you make quality decisions, you make quality decisions. 'When you make quality decisions, you make quality decisions. 'When you make quality decisions, you make quality decisions. 'When you make quality decisions, you make quality decisions. 'When you make quality decisions, you make quality decisions. 'When you make quality decisions, you make quality decisions. 'When you decisions are the pathway to destiny. Every day we wake up, we have roughly between 60,000 to 90,000 decisions. Is what we make in a day. It's profound. Every thought that comes across from you is actually a decision. Now, the decision you take, is it informed? And then again, here I would like to show or speak about the connection between your decision and your patterns. So for example, let me give you something very basic. I go to work on a daily basis, right? And because of the quantum of decisions I've told you we take as individuals, it's critical for me to prepare. So for example, tomorrow is Monday. By today, I want to have the outfit I'm wearing tomorrow ready, in place. That is one decision taken care of, so that tomorrow morning, I'm not overwhelmed. Because that's what happens. If you're taking 60,000 decisions every day, that can really be overwhelming. So for the awakened soul, for the intentional person, you take time to make your life just a little bit easier by having some of these routines in place. It makes your life very, very organized. And in a way, that is what you want into becoming somebody who is authentic. Pillar 3. So patterns, your decisions, and something very important, your identity. Everybody who has been on stage here today has spoken about identity. What is identity? It answers to the question, who are you? Really, at your core. Remember, as a human being, you are a tripartite being, right? You are not just flesh and blood. You are primarily spirit, soul, and then body. So, and all of these 3 dimensions are equally important. So you cannot take care of your body and then forgo your soul or your spirit. You wouldn't be acting in the best interest of that phenomenal being that you are. Now, on to the next pillar. Now, this is a very critical pillar, because even if you have the first 3 I have mentioned, but you have not taken care of this particular pillar, the pillar of limiting beliefs, then it's going to crash down all of the first 3 I've spoken about. And what are limiting beliefs? Let me ask you a question so that this is a dialogue and not a monologue, right? Have you identified, or do you know how you desire your life to be? Anyone? Has anybody? You have. Okay. Are you there, would you say? Almost. You're getting there. Okay. So that means there are still some things that are holding you back from living that particular life that you so desire. So those things that are holding you back are what we call limiting beliefs. For a lot of people, it is fear. They say fear has crippled and killed more dreams than any natural disaster or war or deaths that you can imagine. Fear. So it's critical that if you have a fear, whatever it is, and the task here for you is to identify your own limiting belief. What is it? It differs for everybody. Some people is the fear of public speaking. For some is fear of success. For some is fear of money. So money just runs away from them because they have not acknowledged that limiting belief. Then finally, once you have all of these 4 in place, then the last factor, you yourself, what we call the expanded self. And this now brings me to the real crux of authenticity. Like I said earlier, you are the greatest creation that exists. You are more magnificent than any dream, any fantasy, any idea of who you are. Which is why we're hearing a lot of testimonies. A lot of people who are now applying some of these universal principles between 2024 and now are actually manifesting. Using the principles are there. And if you're part of this dynamic tribe, you know that you are the greatest resource. And everything around you are what? Tools. Tools for you to utilize in order to alchemize, to activate what is really in your core. When all of those titles are taken away, the Mrs., the doctor, the pharmacist, mother, wife, when all of those are taken, who are you at your core, your essence? What drives you? Do you know your motivations? Do you know your values? Those are some of the things that really speak to who you are as a person. So going on to authenticity. Authenticity simply really means originality. As opposed to what is happening, the Gen Zs have left. But what is happening now, when I look at, say, the beauty industry, I find it very odd that everybody is doing work on themselves to look like a particular family that is well known, the Kardashians. Everybody has sucked-in cheeks, high cheekbones, long flowy hair to almost their butt. Everybody is looking the same. We are not created to be the same. We are not created to be duplicates. We are unique. Each and every one of us is unique. And if you don't come from that uniqueness, then you're just a copy. You've lost your originality. And because you've lost that originality, your voice, your true destiny that you were supposed to live, you can never live it as a replicate or copy of another person. So, let me break it down and use an example for you to understand how really critical and important authenticity is. And this must have happened to all of us, really. Have you ever seen someone and said, oh, wow, that person looks great. I wish I was in her place, or I wish I was in his place. We've all done that, haven't we? At some point or the other. So, this is it. Anytime you see another person, and your perception when you see that person is, oh, this person is richer than me, or this person is finer than me, or this person is more socially connected than me. What you have done, in essence, is you have exaggerated that person, upplayed all of the positive qualities of that person, ignoring and being totally oblivious to the downsides of that person. And on yourself, you have minimized yourself completely. You now don't see any upside to you. You only see your downside. Now, physiologically, neurologically, what has happened to you is you have created a distortion. That distortion makes you act from a place of inauthenticity, from a place of total lack of originality. Because at that point, what you're doing is you're deflecting. You're deflecting yourself, and you have totally minimized yourself to the floor. The flip side is when you now meet someone, exactly, who you now think, I'm the GOAT. Yeah, I am richer, I am finer, I'm more socially connected. Yeah, I'm the MVP. In that regard, what you are doing is you have exaggerated yourself, seeing only your positives, ignoring totally your negatives, and to the person that you think you're bigger than or greater than, you have totally minimized. And so you don't see anything, any of the positives that that person has. In effect, that is what creates pomposity, pride, even narcissism comes from that single act of thinking you're better than the next person, which is what makes comparison such a futile act. Do not waste your time, your effort in comparing yourself to another person. It's a worthless exercise in appreciating yourself as the unique being that you truly are. Because the truth is, whatever it is you've seen in the next person exists in you. And true authenticity is when the seen and the seer are the same, and you realize that nothing is missing in you. That is true authenticity. So the seer, the seen are the same, and there's nothing missing in any of us. Which is why if you're not part of this dynamic tribe, this dynamic group, this should be a wake-up call for you. Because once you become truly authentic, all of the laws of the universe come together, and that's what we call manifestation. Law of attraction, law of resonance, law of repetition. Everything comes together for your highest good. And with that said, I've come to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much. You've been a wonderful audience.
Please, can we give her a better round of applause? Okay, you're open for questions, right?
Oh.
Regarding her presentation.
They are all very successful.
Awesome.
Let me share my...
Okay.
So on social media, I'm called Reformer Minds by Hadiza. Kindly check us out and follow. Thank you very much. Reformer Minds by Hadiza. Reformer, R-E-F-O-R-M-A, Minds, M-I-N-D-S. Thank you.